Huge. Alright, hold on. I might have to double grind this because I switched grain sizes halfway through. This explains the weird sleep. Yeah, but like oh gosh, excuse me. I use a fairly coarse grind, so a lot of the time we're just gonna try to grind this back up. Yeah, that looks much better. Yeah, I keep the grain size fairly coarse in my Chemex, so I still get a really nice, really nice cup out of it. I'm sure I guess I could play around with it. Play around with it a little bit. We've got our water. We'll heat it back up to 200. We'll get our two filters. Now, I'll be using a new Chemex filter for the first time today. Is it the new one? Oh no, these are the square. Oh yeah. So you can get two kinds of Chemex filters, which I think are really interesting. And the only thing that changes is the shape. If you've been watching for a couple of weeks, you'll notice that I usually use a like a quarter moon size Chemex filter. And now, well, the place that I could get them, they come in squares. So it's the same filter. It's just kind of flared out at the top, which you can't see at all. Oh, there you go. Because the light in here is terrible, you get kind of a flared situation. Some people say it adds a little bit of style points. It's not my favorite. I find that the half moon filter is it works just fine. Although some people say that it's easier to grab these filters out of the Chemex. I don't know. It seems a little arbitrary. But, you know, style points. Coffee is all about, you know, finding your groove and throwing in a little bit of personal flair. So let's make sure that our AeroPress is clean and sealed, which it looks like. Looks like it could be. Set this guy up. Right now we're just going to wet our filters. For the AeroPress, we're going to do it very carefully. Just a little bit of water on that disc. Make sure the filter is nice and wet. Even it out. So that is ready. For the Chemex, make sure it's in your brewing device. And with the Chemex, make sure you give your filter a really nice big wash. Again, the Chemex filter is going to be... What's up, Z-Rex? Chemex filter is going to be much thicker than a normal brewing method, especially these. What is going on here? Again, I've never used one of these, so it's a little bit different than what I'm used to. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Chemex filters in general are much thicker paper filters. Oh, you're not that late. We're doing a side-by-side comparison with the Blue Bottle, the Burundi cup, the Burundi Kyanza Haza from Blue Bottle that I brewed up yesterday. Anyway, so as far as the thickness goes, you want to make sure that if you are brewing with a Chemex, make sure to wash your filter nice and thoroughly. So here we're going to add our 2 coffees. Come on. Alright, well, there's going to be some residual coffee grinds in that cup. How should I do this? This is dry, this is wet, so we'll do this. We'll start this off first. $23 grams, kosher salt coarseness on a Chemex. And we will actually heat this up just a little bit hotter. I'm talking too much. My water cooled off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So I know we're doing... Oh goodness. I know we're doing a side-by-side comparison. I'm messing with the water temperature just a little bit. Actually, we'll split it in half. I'm turning the water temperature up a little bit. I brew my Chemexes a little hotter. So we'll try a 202, which is a little bit colder than I normally do my Chemex and a little bit hotter than I've done my AeroPress. Kind of split the difference between the two to keep the variables the same, because we've changed the grain size, which is pretty major as far as variable minimization goes. But again, we're using 2 very, very different brewing methods, so the grain size is a kind of a necessary change, as far as I know, if we're going to do a taste comparison. Boom. Here we go. So just like the AeroPress, and with any brewing method... Oh, look! 36 right on the nose. What are the odds? You'll want to give that coffee your bloom, which is that period where you're going to let the rest of those gases escape. So you can start really extracting those solubles and insolubles out of your coffee most effectively. So because we're doing 350 milliliters out of this Chemex, we are going to... My table is super cluttered. I gotta clean this up a little bit. Do your bloom, and then add half your water, which is... What? You can't even see it. Alright, hold on. Let's scoot over a little bit so you guys can see the scale. There we go. Add half your water, making sure that as the water leaves the coffee, that you're washing all of the grinds that's going to stick to the side of the paper filter. You want to make sure you're extracting all of your coffee grinds through the entire brewing process. That'll give you a much more consistent flavor out of your cup. Give it about half the time. Once half the time has expired, go ahead and add the other half of your water. This is a ratio that I'm used to. So I'm better with hitting the benchmarks as opposed to. I did. It's on stream. On stream, confirmed, verifiable. But it only really matters here in the Chemex, or in the AeroPress. Chemex, and with some of the other brewing methods, there is like a high point. You don't want to have to add too much water in your bloom, or it's not going to have an effect because you're going to weigh the coffee down with the water. But here with the Chemex, you know, you just basically want to wet all the coffee so it can start doing its thing. Oh no! Unverifiable. Oh no. Chemex is also a much slower brewing method, as especially when opposed with the AeroPress here. This one's probably going to take about 3.5 minutes total brew time, whereas the AeroPress is just under 2 minutes total for a single cup. So depending on your own personal style, if you like a quicker single cup, it's gonna be really hard to beat a cup out of an AeroPress just because of how quick it is. Oh man, this is gonna be a little bit longer than 3 minutes, or 3.5 minutes. Four-minute cup? That's a little bit long. I wanted horns, but there were none. Salt works. Salt always works when Jensen's involved. He's very familiar. Alright. So this is about 4:15, which honestly is a little bit on the long side. So we'll see flavor-wise how that affects things. Into the trash. Putting it over here, gonna let it sit as we move on to our second. Alright, 36 grams. Boo. Oh. And we're over. Oh no! We did it! We did it! Miracles can happen, folks. We saw it here first on Mr. Bones' stream. Miracles can happen. 36 grams. Right on the money. that demon magic. Mr. Bones, who did you sell your soul to? It's not the same Mr. Bones we saw yesterday. Straight up to our 200. No. There's that extra gram. It's not counting the spillage. Everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. Everybody just calm down. So Z-Rex, we're brewing 18 grams out of the AeroPress because we use less water, and we're doing 23